Plaintiff Henry J. Cox Jr. says he and his wife have known the defendant for 30 plus years. And after he proposed to his wife, he hired the defendant to be their wedding photographer. However, Henry claims after the wedding, the defendant claimed his hard drive was stolen and the pictures were gone. So he's suing. Defendant Christopher Hendricks says he has shot a lot of weddings, and they always end up being a headache. Christopher admits that his hard drive was stolen, but he insists he did everything he could to try and get the pictures back.
Start with you.
Well, just let me give you a little background first. All three of us grew up together. We've known each other for 30, 40 years. Me and Angela, we were both attended an event called Back in the Day McRae. What that is, it's at a park called McRae Park we all grew up in as kids. So we come back and have a picnic every year to celebrate life after 40 years, 50 years of knowing each other. In 2010, Angela came to Back in the Day McRae and she walked by me and my spirit kind of jumped, you know. But she kept walking and she kind of disappeared as fast as she showed up. Then back in 2012, I was called to be on a committee that she was on. So right away, I jumped for the opportunity.
What did you do, sit there and look at her all day?
No,
At the committee meetings?
We dated for about 9 months. At that point in time, Back in the Day came up for 2012. I'd already planned with her mother and father and her sisters to come in, that I proposed to her in front of 300, 400 people, which Mr. Hendricks was one of them. At that point in time, after proposing, Mr. Hendricks confronted me and said that he would be honored to be the photographer at our wedding, that he would give us a neighborhood discount. And me and Angela agreed on it.
Did you think that was a good idea after he mentioned neighborhood discount? Why didn't you say professional discount? That would have been a better phrase.
Well, I always promote at the Back in the Day McRae that we should keep everything within, within
community
our
discount. Our community discount.
I didn't know it was like that, Judge.
All right, let's hear from you, sir. You want to give some background?
He's absolutely right with the background. I don't remember saying anything about a community discount, but we had talked about it before, and I remember him seeking me out, asking me if I would shoot the wedding. And personally, I've shot weddings before. It's always been kind of a little headache, And
what has always been a headache?
Shooting weddings, because
maybe you're in the wrong business.
No. I'm not in the wedding shooting business. I'm more of a freelance photographer that agreed to shoot a wedding.
What did you say was always a problem, though?
Well, it's just my experiences with weddings have been a little, touchy.
I'm saying, so you've had more than one experience.
Yes, I have. I've shot several weddings in the past.
I guess what I'm saying is, if you have other business you can do, why do you intentionally do something that's a headache?
No, I'm not. I wasn't intentionally doing that.
Do it against your will?
No, it wasn't against my will. But on the flip side of that, it's usually because of the attitudes in Henry and his wife. Right now, they were very nice.
Plaintiff Henry J. Cox Jr. hired the defendant to be his wedding photographer, but he claims after the wedding, the defendant's hard drive was stolen and all of his pictures were gone.
All right,
Judge,
so did he tell you that before you determined that you would engage his services? Did he say, I really don't like doing this, and they're usually a headache?
No, if he would have said that, sir, I would have stepped back if I knew it was going to be a headache.
Go ahead.
But
so what did happen?
He came to me and he showed me the wedding shots that he had taken from other pictures. My wife was there. He had his own little DVD or whatever the thing was that he showed me about some other wedding pictures he had taken. My wife was there at the time. We agreed on the price. He came
What was that?
$800.
All right.
This was the neighborhood discount, as he said it. My wife was present when he did say that to us both. He did come to the wedding on 9/28/2013. He was taking pictures at the wedding. He was at the reception taking pictures, and this is a non-alcoholic wedding. Everything was right on time. Chris showed me some of the pictures that he had taken in the frame. He bragged about how he had 800 pictures and that they're going to be fantastic. So I was excited. My wife was excited. A month later, I called him up. I said, where are the pictures? He said, well, Henry, I'm having this kind of difficulties and so on and so forth. So I explained to my wife we were going to...
What type of difficulties?
Well, he said that he had problems, that he went to an event and that someone had stolen his secondary hard drive, external. And so he said that the pictures were stolen at a party he went to. That was the first excuse, sir. And I offered to go and pay money for him to go to Apple Computer to have him pulled off the computer, because the rumor has it that people told me that there's an imprint on the computer. And so I offered to do that for him and just pay for it out my own money because I wanted the pictures. And an hour before we were about to meet at Apple's computer, I get a call from him. He says, no, Henry, I think I'm going to try it myself to get him back again. That was the first excuse. So it was excuse after excuse. So after a while, I started texting. I said, we're going to have trouble here. So I started texting him.
When?
And on 1-7.
January?
Yes,
Okay.
January 7, 2014. Right. I text him and to ask him,
Okay, let me allow him to talk about it at this point.
Okay.
Sir?
Yes, he's right. I did make attempts to recover the data. And
What happened?
well, exactly what he said. I had went and shot an event for my girlfriend here. It was a little party that someone had, a little red carpet event. I had a backdrop up. I had people coming in front of the camera and I was shooting them. And it was a red carpet event. We went outside to shoot people outside walking the red carpet. When we went outside, there was a window where my equipment and stuff was inside and left unwatched. And when I came back and started packing up my equipment, I couldn't find my hard drive. It couldn't have been more than 30 minutes, 40 minutes outside.
You left your very expensive property.
You had to see the
30
layout.
minutes?
You had to see the layout of the house, and you could basically look through the side of the house and see if anybody was in there or what they were doing.
Obviously,
but I wasn't
you
really
couldn't.
doing. But I wasn't. I'm not saying I was doing that, but I'm saying it could be done. I wasn't really like looking, but I wasn't expecting for my equipment to be stolen. I'm more of a. I'm a
Like
person.
no one does when they leave it alone.
No, and especially when you're around people
But
that
the
you know.
risk is there.
Especially when you're around people that you know,
all
you
right.
don't expect that type
You
of
took
thing.
risk with this man's.
Along with thousands of my own pictures.
Yeah, we're
that were
talking about
lost.
him right now.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
when those thousands are going to sue you.
But everything
then
was
give them their
stolen.
chance.
The reason-
Be ready to be in court a lot if you've done that thousands of times. You're going to spend a lot of time in court.
The reason for the hard drive being there in the first place, because I had so many pictures in my computer that I needed external memory to even bring pictures in and encode them into my computer. I actually put them on there for a safety reason. I've been doing this for a long period of time.
You've been leaving them at risk for a long period of time?
I've been
Don't do
shooting
that
pictures.
anymore because it didn't work out for you this time. You got sued.
Plaintiff Henry J. Cox Jr. hired the defendant to be his wedding photographer. But he claims after the wedding, the defendant's hard drive was stolen and all of his pictures were gone.
Did you agree to pay him back or not, sir?
He's never asked me to pay him back.
Sir?
I think he's asking you today.
Yeah.
In the most unique form. That's your only defense, is
Well,
that he's never asked you to
I've
repay
never heard,
him.
up until I came here, I didn't know anything about retakes.
You didn't know why you were coming today.
No, not about retakes.
You just showed up?
He's never expressed to me anything about retakes. There is no way I can retrieve these pictures at this point.
But that's not what we're discussing. We're discussing whether he's ever asked you for a refund.
No.
So his defense is that you didn't ask. What you asking for your money?
Sir, I have text
What you
messages.
asking for
Can I
your
have my
money?
money back?
Judgment for the plaintiff, $1,949. He asked.
Well, I would like to say that I've known him for many years and God tells me to forgive. But I tell you what, America, don't ever use him for wedding pictures. As you heard on TV, that he says they're a headache for him.
Yeah, that's fine, Henry. You had your day. I never meant for that to happen to Henry, and I'm still going to try to find those pictures for you, Henry. I'm not done with this yet. I'm going to get you your picture.
That ain't what your text messages say.
Are you owed money and don't know how to collect? If so, go to my website, askjudgemathis.com.